Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Hell with your host, Robinson. That's me.
And the non-funny person, me, Stanley.
Uh,
What?
yeah, I would agree to that. Anyways.
Okay, so, Robinson, what would you say to someone who's listening the first time? So what is the point of this podcast, this experience that we're trying to take them on?
Well, we're trying to share our opinions with people that ultimately nobody would kill about. That's what makes it our hell.
Did you say that nobody would kill about or care about?
Both.
Okay, great. I don't want anyone to kill anyone, but still. Yeah. So there we go. So I hear that we have some very interesting topics for this week, which we are going to have to put a trigger warning in front of one of them because it is it is bad. Like, it's really bad. And when we get to it, I'll make sure that we put that in front. So no one is just automatically like, oh no, I am mentally distraught from this, because this is not that point, not that kind of podcast, right? We're not like Steven Crowder or Ben Shabibo or any of those other people. So,
yes, we're not as talented.
we're not as talented.
Also,
oh, please.
but also trigger warning for one of mine too, because it does involve guns with triggers on them. In fact, trigger warning for this entire podcast because video game controllers have triggers on them, sometimes multiple.
Yeah, I think you don't quite understand what a trigger warning is, Robinson.
I don't understand many things.
Okay, great. Well, so to start off with our first anime fact of this week, you guys know Kohei Horikoshi, the guy that made My Hero Academia?
Okay, I feel bad. I probably already said this, and it's not a racist thing, but like Japanese names to me, they don't sound like names. They sound like noises.
Dude, you belong to the anime club. What the fuck, man?
Dude, I like, no joke. Jujutsu Kaisen, amazing anime. I could not tell you anybody's name because I refer to all of them as Naruto characters because that's all Jujutsu Kaisen is. It's modern Naruto.
Modern Naruto, sure. Sure. Well, anyway, so fun fact is that Kohei, this was actually his last ever attempt at writing a manga. He apparently had written several manga and they all failed, and he was going to give My Hero Academia the last rung, and it caught on, and surprisingly, he passed. So, now he's making tons of anime, especially for My Hero Academia, and tons of fans and that kind of shit. So, I mean, good job. It kind of goes to show you that sometimes it's just a lot of luck needs to happen for someone to hit it big. So,
My Hero Academia is really massive. Like, you want to know how I know, like, how I say something's popular?
huh?
If Mexican school children get backpacks of it, that's how I know it's popular. Because
Yeah?
in Mexico, we usually always have a school uniform, right? So half the time, the only way these kids get to show off like what they like or any individualism is through their backpacks, right? And their notebooks sometimes, but we usually just get the cheapo regular notebooks.
Yeah.
My notebooks were WWE. But yeah,
Wow.
I was in Mexico. Tons of these kids running home from school, My Hero Academia backpacks, like every other kid, and I was shocked. But it makes sense now because Mexico, like, internet is becoming more readily available in more houses, and Netflix is becoming a much bigger thing in Mexico than it used to be before. So I remember seeing that, and I was thinking, holy, this might be the biggest anime ever.
Oh, they just have backpacks and t-shirts and shit of the characters?
You don't usually see T-shirts. Well, you see them on the
Are
weekends.
you sure? Because, like, I see a bunch of people walking around with Dragon Ball Z t-shirts still.
Oh no, I meant
Like the
on the school kids.
Oh, on the school kids. No,
Yeah.
dude, like, the school kids still do that. Unless there's, like, private schools in Mexico where it's, like, the uniforms.
I don't know. I went to public schools and we always had we didn't have uniform, but it had to be white T-shirt, black slacks. I never wore black slacks. I wore blue jeans, and my teacher didn't. He was
Yeah.
not too happy about it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, still. Yeah, My Hero, dude, one of the biggest anime out there. So,
Oh yeah.
there you go. That's why you got to keep going. That's why we keep doing these podcasts. One day it's going to be lucky.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we're gonna hit it, and then we're gonna get canceled because we said something inadvertently taken out of context or some shit like that. I don't know.
Because I was making fun of trigger warnings.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Speaking
I
of
think
which,
just
trigger warning for bananas, because I know many people are afraid of bananas, especially the brown parts. So, on the Game Boy, for some reason, the Game Boy had like the best RPG experiences. The Game Boy had Final Fantasy Legend 2, right?
yeah.
And in the game, they had a group of opium smugglers, right?
Okay.
Now, Nintendo censorship guidelines will not allow, opium to be shown to kids around the world. So they decided we got to replace it with something. What's something illegal that kids know is bad, but it could pass the ESRB ratings? And you know what
Is
they went
it
with?
what? I was gonna say like alcohol.
Bananas.
It's bananas. So they were
Yep.
banana smugglers.
Yep. Instead of smuggling opium, it was basically the Three Stooges smuggling bananas into a country.
That is fucking insane. So, like, here's the thing is that there was a very big popular thing that went around the internet back when I was like 17, 16 years old. I was in Germany with some of my friends, and I was at Benji's house, this guy that I knew, Benji, and he read somewhere on the internet that if you take the little things inside of the banana peels, the little stringy shit that you take off the bananas usually.
Yeah.
If you bake them and then grind them up and then put them in tobacco and you smoke it, that you'll get high or some shit like that.
I mean,
And
you'll get something.
you'll get smoke, right? But that's it. So it was essentially we just sat there while we were watching movies, and he was basically being like a dropout Jesse Heisenberg or whatever from like Breaking Bad, just kind of sitting there trying to figure out how to do this. And he tried it, and nope, it doesn't work. And I could have told him that before he spent like hours trying to do this kind of shit. So, still
The bananas, Jesse.
the bananas, they're everywhere. Jesus. So they really had to go all that way to bananas for censorship, huh?
I mean, yeah, because I would have thought what you would think, like booze, maybe knives, weapons, something that kids know is bad, but bananas. I love that because now in my mind, Final Fantasy Legend 2 is a spin-off where every character is Donkey Kong.
Oh my god, right?
Also, speaking of banana peels, I actually have like a little bit of I hate saying the word life hack because nowadays it means nothing. Nowadays it's like, do you need a coffee mug? Wash out your old underwear and drape it over a bowl.
right. Or do you need any more coffee filters? Just like put your underwear in the fucking coffee filter and then it'll work.
Yeah, it's always like that's gonna make me lose a pair of underwear. It's not gonna work. I'm just gonna go buy a $1 mug. But
Okay.
I have a life hack with banana peels, and you take the inside of the peel, you rub it on your teeth. It's a natural whitener.
Yeah.
So you don't leave it on there forever. You rub it on your teeth, and then you drink some water like 5 minutes after, so you can like wash it all down. It makes my teeth feel nice.
Dude, I feel like you're giving advice on the same with like Benji trying to cook banana peels to get high.
Do not smoke bananas.
Yeah, don't smoke bananas.
At least with my method, there's no fire involved.
Well, shit, dude. I don't know. Like,
Oh,
it's insane.
Speaking of
What?
fire, the Tokyo Olympics opening. Now,
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Now, to be completely honest, I don't watch sports, right? I don't know what it is. I can't watch sports. I can't watch the Olympics. I get bored. But honestly, the Olympics are super interesting to me because it's like, these are the best people in the world at this event. Like, the best in the world at throwing this specific type of ball.
Yeah.
Like, I would... So I do find it interesting. I just can't watch it. But I kind of wish I was watching it yesterday because in the opening ceremony parade, Japan played video game music.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is Japan just basically like, yeah, y'all don't give a shit about the cultural stuff, so we're just gonna play like, video game things because that's all y'all apparently know about our country is Japanese video games.
Y'all drop 2 nukes on us, can't even bother to learn the culture.
That's how America does it. We hit it and quit it.
Oh,
And by
of
hit
course.
it, I mean we use a 1-ton nuclear payload.
Well, we hit it twice, then quit it once. We had to make sure. But
Okay.
at least, yeah, trigger warning, massive war crime. Well, it wasn't a war crime at the time.
Nah, I'd still think it's a war crime. The only 2 nuclear bombs used in war were both by the United States. So,
Both were on Japan.
yeah,
So,
there you go.
so they started with the theme to Dragon Quest, which is fantastic.
Oh, hell
Then
yeah.
the victory theme to Final Fantasy. And I don't have the complete list in order, but they use music from Nier Automata. They use music from Sonic the Hedgehog. They use
Yeah.
a bunch of JRPG music, which is really cool. But now I'm expecting for them to continue. You know what I mean? Like for the 100-meter dash, I need Green Hill Zone to be playing on those speakers.
Yeah,
Or-
dude, like
Or-
that's so great that they played like the Sugiyama's overture for Dragon Quest because that's such like it's actually one of my ringtones. I love Dragon Quest. Like I know like it's like the story and everything about Dragon Quest is like really really dumb because it's an RPG, right? They're supposed to be stupid. The voice acting's supposed to be terrible. Everything's supposed to be bad. It's the whole part of the experience. It's all bad and it all makes it better. But
So, about the voice acting, I love terrible voice acting because everybody's trying to do something different. Maybe it doesn't work, but it's so much. There was this period of time between like 2010 and 2017 where they used the same 2 voice actors for every English dub on Earth, and it was just
Yeah.
boring.
yeah.
Nowadays, especially you can see it with My Hero Academia, they very much diversified the voice talents, and they still keep the edgy voices for like the edgy characters, which I always find hilarious. But having bad voice acting where everybody's trying to poorly imitate an accent is so much fun. I love it
Yeah.
so much.
It's so great. Like was the original Devil May Cry like and was the second one that were on like the PS2? They were bad. Like really bad. Like it was one of those of just like, oh my god. Like I know Devil May Cry, you're not supposed to expect like Oscar level like writing, but there was one point where it was just like Dante was like holding Triss in his arms and he's like, no, I was supposed to kill the darkness with light, and then he like looks up to the sky. I just sat there and I was just like, ooh, cringe. I've cringed so hard my face has like concaved into my skull, kind of thing.
I can see my frontal cortex.
Dying, right? Like Jesus. So they have all this video game music that was at the Olympics. Did they start off with the overture from Dragon Quest or
Yeah,
what?
that was the first one, and I agree that is one of the most triumphant songs I've ever heard of in my life. Like
Dude,
that's the song.
100%.
That song is like King Arthur coming back, like with his full Knights of the Round Table after I don't know, conquering the French or something, right?
Like the whole thing is like the full orchestra, the orchestral version is actually what got me into Dragon Quest because I had not been a fan, and then I heard the overture and I was just like, okay, obviously because I'm an auditory person, right? I get more about like auditory things than I do visually, but I mean, hey, the guy that did Dragon Ball was the guy that like authored a lot of Dragon Quest, right? And like not wrote it, but like designed it and designed the characters, and so they all look like you're basically playing an RPG that was made by Akira Toriyama, right? So
So what you're saying is, since Hero is in Smash, Goku.
it's potential, right? Who knows if they're in the same universe or that kind of shit, right?
I get into stuff weirdly. I got into Dragon Quest because I saw the character model for Cruel Cumber.
We're Cruel Cumber? Really? Okay.
A
Yeah, cucumber
He's
with
standing
a
on one
spear.
leg. He's got the spear, and when you kill him, he falls back and impales himself with his spear. He's like, oh.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Wait. Trigger warning: cucumbers and impalement.
Yeah. Dude,
But,
so
yeah, I get into stuff in weird ways. Like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, one of my favorite animes. I only got into that because one of my buddies showed me an English compilation in YouTube. Because in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, a lot of characters will say like devastating catchphrases in English, and it is so funny because it's said with a very thick Japanese accent and most of the time very grammatically incorrect.
yeah.
That's what got me into JoJo's.
Yeah. So you want to know something kind of dark about the Dragon Quest composer that wrote Overture?
What happened?
Sugiyama is a Japanese nationalist, and he has frequently denied the Nanjing massacre in China during World War II. He also wrote a number of Japanese politicians and academics, like a full-page paper like ad in the Washington Post when in 2007 the House of Representatives were actually seeking an official apology from the government of Japan about like Japan using comfort women in Korea and China as actual sex slaves during World War II. He actually signed the full-page letter with a bunch of other politicians and shit saying that the Nanjing massacre was just Chinese propaganda and that it didn't happen. It's like the equivalent of someone denying the Holocaust, essentially. And
funny you should say that because so
why is there like the Sonic composer a Holocaust denier?
You were close.
Oh damn! Okay.
So whoever ran this walking parade, their job title is the creative director, right? Now, I found this out like I just found this out because I'm like, funny video game music. Whoa, wait a minute. Because the first creative director, Kentaro Kobayashi, hoping I'm saying that right. Remember, if I ever say anything incorrect, please know it's from a place of stupidity, not hatred. And he was fired after making a Holocaust joke.
Oh.
The predecessor, who replaced him, was fired for making sexist comments. And then the composer, meanwhile, wasn't fired, but he felt the heat, so he decided to quit, stating he used to bully disabled classmates. And I'm just here like,
what?
These are parade organizers.
These are parade organizers. Okay, cool. What? Okay, whatever. I mean, you know what? If there's anyone who knows how to throw like a dank parade, it's like literal Nazis and bad people.
You know
so
what?
I can see
You're
how
right.
they could do that.
They had amazing parades.
Yeah, and they also didn't end well either, but still. So we got like that's really hard, right? Because like we were just talking about how like Overture and all these other games and music and that kind of shit is really good. How do you actually separate like liking something that was made by a horrible person? Because that's difficult to do.
Speaking of the Holocaust, Hitler's art wasn't that bad.
Honestly, it was better than my art.
Trigger
it's
warning.
better than mine.
Trigger warning, Hitler. Also, I fully believe that Starbucks was invented so failed art students wouldn't start any more world wars.
I honestly disagree with you, but hey, still. All right, you ready for my next news story, my guy? Would you like to hear about this news story or what?
Before we do that, a quick thing about Chinese censorship. I was once in a ranked game of League of Legends against a Chinese character. His name was in Chinese characters, is what I'm trying to say. And he called me stupid American pig. So in the all chat, I put Tiananmen Square Massacre. He immediately disconnected from the game.
Hit him where it hurts the most, my guy.
I really hope he disconnected and he wasn't like taken out by Chinese Black Ops.
No, I think it was probably like because the Chinese internet has like that catch-all censorship, right?
I hope that's what happened.
I mean, it might. Still, right? Hey,
All
I
right.
don't know what to say, but still,
Let me get your
speaking of
story
like
now.
thing. So, in the Ukraine a couple weeks ago, there was a raid on a cryptocurrency factory that was, quote, stealing electricity from the people, which is like their way of saying that they were just essentially using a public utility without actually paying a bill or actually committing back to it. And when the police busted this warehouse, they found, instead of like, crypto mining cards, right? They found 3,800 PS4s that were trying to mine what they believe to be cryptocurrency, because the amount of power and the amount of like PS4s that you have, you'd be like, okay, well, maybe they are trying to do this. Maybe they found a way to like trick the GPU in the PlayStation 4 to actually mine cryptocurrency.
All right, cool. Because
Well,
I didn't know that was possible.
it's not, because
Huh?
it turns out, according to gamingbolt.com, the 3,800 PS4s to mine cryptocurrency were not actually mining cryptocurrency. They were mining the gambling cards that FIFA uses as loot boxes in FIFA 21.
Wait, wait.
Yeah. So there are these things called FUT coins or FUT coins, which give you rare cards that, like, it's basically earning loot boxes in Overwatch. So what they're doing is that they're using 3,800 PlayStation 4s so that they could sell FUT cards to people on the black market, because that was more profitable than mining cryptocurrency.
Oh my god. Wait. So FIFA has a black market?
Yeah, so
They're like-
apparently FIFA has a black market. Like, Lionel Messi and like all the other like footballers, like the really big ones.
Yeah,
Like
because-
the chances of getting them actually within a loot boxes is like less than 1%.
Oh my god. And I know what you're talking about because every time I visit my dad back in Mexico. We have a tradition of playing FIFA until one of us punches the other. But, yeah,
So
I
the
remember-
first round, so like the first 90 minutes, is that is that it?
usually at the
okay.
fourth game.
Okay.
But
all
yeah,
right.
he was showing off his team to me, and he was complaining about the loot boxes. So that's
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so funny. So how do these black markets work? Is it like Reddit or is it like a back alley?
They haven't described it yet, because remember, this is still going on in investigation, but EA has straight up denied that you can do that, which obviously is false, because why would these people have 3,800 PS4s mining like just FIFA FUT cards if this is not going to be like useful, right? Because people don't do anything just for no reason. They do it for like some kind of gain. And
It's like-
so
It's like Ron Swanson said, there are three things that motivate the man: fear, hunger, and money.
yeah, and that's what they're trying to do. So apparently there's some way that they can actually give you these FUT cards and that kind of stuff, which I don't know how, but they do it, and they still do it, and it's so amazing that EA has already been kind of like on the level about like how much they're making from loot boxes. Apparently close to half of their total sales last year alone were from loot boxes, and there's a big controversy because EA has been so predatory with loot boxes that what is it? There was like investigations, like the Netherlands has banned loot boxes altogether, and EA was just kind of like, they're not loot boxes, it's not gambling, it's surprise mechanics.
I remember
you
that.
don't get. Yeah.
Bro.
Like all that kind of bullshit that they were trying to pull off as like actual like good for the community or that kind of thing. But there are stories out there constantly about children using their parents' credit card to buy FUT cards and spending $8,000 or spending $5,000 or that kind of stuff on these loot boxes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I remember doing that as a kid. I remember I got my first cell phone when I was like, I forget, like 10, 11, 12. One of those emergency hand-me-down cell phones, right?
right.
Like, I only got my mom and dad's number on it, and that's it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I found out you can download games on these phones, and it was a BlackBerry, right? So so it was like an entire keyboard and a screen.
Okay.
Turns out I spent $60 buying games.
I'm guessing your parents were like, Robinson!
So my mom was not mad. She was not happy. She was incredibly mad, but she was very forgiving because she was like, he didn't know. But like ever since then, she said, the next time you download a game, I will destroy you.
Oh, damn, okay.
Wait,
So
that's
yeah.
insane that like I was only able to do $60 worth of damages. Not that that's not a good amount of money, but 5,000 to 8,000, I could easily see
Yeah.
myself accidentally doing that if I like didn't know what was going on. Because these kids
Right.
don't know.
Yeah. Well, my other thing is that, like, why would you need to post a credit card to this account anyways? Why does EA need to have your credit card information on hand for this literal children's game, right? Because let's be honest, who are the people that are playing FIFA all the time? It's more than likely like teenagers or young children. I mean, I'm sure there are adults that do spend a lot of like money on loot boxes, but it's still promoting gambling to kids essentially. Yeah.
Because
So, whatever.
EA is very predatory with how they do things. My golden example of loot boxes is Overwatch. I do believe they're one of the earliest examples of it because you get one for every level up, which is like every 4 games.
Yeah.
You get like they always give you like a free 5 loot boxes when like it's like, hey, this month is over and you had a level 3 in commends. Here are some free loot boxes. They give you like 5 every event, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And not only can you buy loot boxes, but you can also buy the items you want with money you get from duplicates. So
Yeah.
I honestly think that's like the best example we have of it right now.
Well, I still think that loot box it's gambling to kids. I
Oh,
really do.
absolutely.
Because the whole thing is that you can still buy loot boxes on Overwatch too.
Exactly.
If there was no ability for you to buy loot boxes, that would be one thing. But if it's the you either grind or we give you time saving mechanics or surprise mechanics on this fucking game by you just paying for it, dude, I already spent $60 on this thing. Overwatch was $60 when I bought it, right? So why am
Yep.
I going to, or
Spend
why
more.
should I? Yeah,
I thi-
exactly.
Back to surprise mechanics. That's like the dumbest thing I've heard of in my life because real life has surprise mechanics too. My brakes were grinding into my car. I love those surprise mechanics.
Yeah.
I've been mugged twice in my life. Surprise mechanics, baby.
Yeah, and one of them was your brakes breaking down. Still, dude, cars are money pits. They're always going to be money pits. You
I
should
can-
know this by now.
I just wish it wouldn't break. I take care of Charlene.
Yeah, well, looks like Charlene's getting up in ages, my guy.
She is. Which is funny because she's 9 years old. Like it's a 2012 car, and
Okay.
it's got over 100,000 miles on it. Because I drive to Texas and back. I drive from Utah to Texas like twice a year to visit my family because I hate flying. I would rather drive 22 hours instead of flying.
Why?
Oh my God. How much time do we have till break?
I
I'll
don't know. We got like 2 minutes or some kind of
I'll
shit.
complain. So it's a lot of things. One, I don't like the whole TSA security thing because I always get randomly selected for something or the other. I remember, no, last time I took a kalimba. Do you know what a kalimba is?
No.
Listen, I'll play it for you after the break so we don't waste any time. But it's a small musical instrument that makes lullaby music. It's about the size of a small notebook, and it sounds beautiful. I had it in my case, and it comes with a little tiny tuning hammer, right? Mm-hmm. Like this tuning hammer is the size of a keychain. Mm-hmm. And they stopped me and say, "You've got a weapon in this bag?" And I said, "No, I don't." And he looked me in the eyes. He said, "Don't lie to me. Do you have a weapon in this bag?" "No, I don't." "All right, then. Lying's only going to get you in bigger trouble."
What a cock.
Yeah,
I
so-
fucking hate the TSA. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. Go on.
Like, good for you, man. You're a cop with somehow less authority. So, we open up my bag. I'm like, he starts looking through everything that has a Ziploc, right? And the thing is, I already took out my Switch, because you're supposed to put like video game consoles and laptops in like their own container, right?
Yeah.
So at this
Right.
point, he's just going through my medicine. He's going through my toiletries, my cables, and then
Mm.
he he opens up my kalimba. Now what's that? I'm like, that's a kalimba. It's a musical instrument. He takes it out. I knew you were lying to me. What's this? That's a tuning hammer. And he looks me in the eyes. This is a weapon. And now,
This is a
mind
weapon.
you, this tuning, like I said, it's smaller than my thumb. Now, granted, I do have massive thumbs, but it is not a weapon. So he said, right here, I'm getting somebody. I don't remember who. The guy came over, took a look at the hammer, looked me in the eyes, and went, "You're free to go, sir."
Yeah. Well, because what do you do with the little tiny hammer? Like break some eggs?
I
Like,
can,
is
I
that
can,
the?
I mean, I can force it down somebody's throat, but you can say the same about travel-sized deodorants.
That's true. That
And
is very
then,
true.
and then the seats are so goddamn small. I mean, they're probably fine for average people, but I am not an average man. For the viewers at home, I am 6'4", 260 pounds. I dropped 10 pounds, but still, I am massive, and I hate the takeoff because like the headrest is always at the base of my neck. So while taking off, I am actively getting my neck pulled backwards.
Yep.
I
Yep.
look.
Dude, I get it. There's nothing like sitting in the aisle seat and all of a sudden like the fucking lady, the stewardess or the flight attendant just rams the cart within your elbow.
And here's the thing, I never choose a seat because I do not like spending money, so I'm always middle or window. So I never get the aisle seat.
Well,
Also, the
there you
bathrooms
go.
are so small. Like,
They are.
uh, I don't want to get too graphic or explicit, but like I said, I'm a big fella. I need big toilets. I can't use the toilets they have there that was built for Dobby from Harry Potter.
Yeah, dude, they're all there. Like that's it. So
And so
Hey.
so I got to do my business standing up. All of a sudden, I get slammed into the side of the plane. I get a concussion. 2 minutes later, ladies and gentlemen, we will be experiencing a little bit of turbulence. Please fasten your seatbelt. And then I get rocketed. I hit my head on the ceiling. I fall on my ass. I hate airplanes.
I
Okay.
get it.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go on this break before I destroy something.
Okay, dude.
Do we have a sponsor yet? Nope.
No. Oh.
We'll
okay.
see it. We'll see everybody in a second.
Bye.
Ah, did you hear that kalimba? I totally didn't forget to record and ruined about 30 seconds of audio. What was that thing we said? Oh, yeah. So that kalimba, that beautiful instrument, is what the TSA tried to steal from me.
Yeah, yeah. And then I said, fuck the TSA, because the
And then
TSA is nothing.
And then I said, fuck the Amazon, because the Amazon is nothing. I hate the river. I hate the jungle. That's a joke. So, if it seems like I hate Amazon, that's because I worked for them. Because I'm a goon at heart, right? Like, you point me at something that requires muscle, I'll do it. So I worked a ton of factory jobs. Amazon was the worst of it. So that's where my hatred is based in.
Okay. Well, my hatred comes in the fact that I hate Jeff Bezos because he is a capitalist that is ruining American society, and no amount of man should have that much wealth because he is a literal dragon. He is an otherkin dragon, and he is like the worst kind of person. So I hate Jeff Bezos, and people always be like, "But what about the millions of dollars that he gives to charity?" I'm like, and that is like 0.01% of his wealth. So fuck off. Right, but still.
I like to imagine Jeff Bezos like curled up, sleeping on a pile of Amazon Kindles, but instead of being a dragon, he just has an incredibly long neck.
Yeah, I mean that's because he's a weirdo little psycho. I mean the whole thing, like, where you know that when he came back to Earth, he made that coy joke about like, ha ha ha, you know, I just need to thank Amazon customers and workers because y'all basically paid for this, and like.
That actually made my blood boil a little bit because I am I was an Amazon worker. It's one of those jobs that you're like, I wanna die in this factory, but I need the money, so I'm gonna stay until I can find a different job.
Right, I get it. Okay, dope.
So speaking of which. They made a game called New World. It's an MMO, and I refuse to play it because I try to not support Amazon in any way I can, and I just got a good reason not to support it. It's been bricking RTX 3090 cards.
Oh my god, dude! Because I have like a 3080 in my rig right now, so the fact that like they're bricking 3090s means that like they're doing some heinous fucking shit. So
and here's the thing, you will be experiencing high temperatures and power spikes. So, Amazon's New World, the closed beta was launched yesterday, got over 100,000 people playing it, almost 200,000 at peak. That number immediately dropped to like less than 50,000 people playing it because so many players were reporting incredibly high temperatures and power spikes while playing the game. And the 3090s are the ones reporting brickage, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's all I gotta say.
They are
Amazon,
bricking, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
Amazon, make a better game.
So I was I had heard about this news story before, right, from Linus Tech Tips, and they were saying like, apparently there was no like frame rate limiter on the card, so it was just basically like the 3090 going, all right, I'm gonna do my 100-meter dash for 4 miles, and then just broke down. So, like, did they actually fix it? Because I know that also EVGA said that they were going to replace any 3090 that was bought and bricked by Amazon's shenanigans. So,
which is good for them.
Yeah, that's good customer service, I believe.
Yeah. Amazon Games actually sent over a statement, and I'm going to read it verbatim so we can discuss what they said.
Right.
So this is Amazon words, well, Amazon Game representative own words. Hundreds of thousands of people played in the New World closed beta yesterday, with millions of total hours played. We received a few reports of players using high-performance graphics cards experiencing a hardware failure when playing New World. New World makes standard DirectX calls as provided by the Windows API. We have seen no indication of widespread issues with 3090s, either in the beta or during our many months of alpha testing. The New World closed beta is safe to play. In order to further reassure players, we will implement a patch today that caps frames per second on our menu screen. We're grateful for the support New World is receiving from players around the world, and we'll keep listening to their feedbacks throughout beta and beyond. Now, the reason I believe that's kind of BS is because at the end they're like, we'll keep listening to feedbacks. In the beginning, we received a few reports.
Yeah. We've received a few reports. What a disingenuous little shit. And
in the same statement.
I know, right? It's like someone who's like, no one's a bigger supporter of gay rights than I am, but hey, those gays, man, what are we going to do about them? Kind of thing. Like, come on, dude. Like, corporate speak is so fucking bullshit, too.
I have a fix for that. If we just get them a house remodeling show, everything's going to be fine. Because everybody loves house remodeling. Gays love decorating houses. And they're very good at it most of the time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm going to put out that most of the time. Because I had a gay friend. I'm like, hey, what would you do to my room if you could remodel it? Yeah. And he had the worst ideas I've ever heard of in my entire goddamn life.
Well, dude, like, just because they're gay doesn't mean that they know how to do fashion. I mean, like, come on. Correct. Still. But the whole thing is that, I don't know. That corporate statement is fucking horseshit. Corporations in general are horseshit. We should abolish corporations, seize the means of production, and then execute Jeff Bezos for crimes against wealth. So, I don't know. I'm saying this as a part of a video game. I'm not saying do it in real life. I'm just saying that, like, Jeff Bezos should be executed in a game. not
In
not
New
in
World.
real life. In New World, he should have the weight of the 3090s like put on his chest, and then slowly crush him as they speed up and fan. I don't know, whatever. But
In Minecraft, of course.
yeah, so did you like? So that is. There's just no sight to this end of like corporate bullshit that's going on this week, because guess what happened? Our favorite kind of game to play co-op with is Overwatch, and we love Overwatch, and
Yeah.
there are people who are like diehard fans of like World of Warcraft. Well, it turns out that Activision Blizzard is in trouble right now with the state of California, because the state of California has filed a lawsuit against Activision Blizzard for unequal workplace. Which, if you don't know, it's really difficult to actually have a lawsuit be successful, especially one to be filed for discrimination based on gender or race or that kind of stuff, because people can always couch their language behind, oh, well, you were not the person that we were looking for. You didn't have the merits that necessitated your that kind of stuff, right? So, the lawsuit, which I read through, it's only 29 pages that the state of California filed. It is some fucked up shit. Like,
So
I'm just
when you say only 29 pages, is that a joke that
No.
it's incredibly long, or is it actually short?
It's actually quite short. But also remember, I'm
Okay.
like a historian, so I'm used to reading like hundreds of pages a week for like different kind of resources and that kind of thing. And don't get me wrong, it's a legal document. But the Department of Fair Employment and Housing for the state of California is really kind of one of those things of like, they're being plain with this language. Like, it's surprising how easy it is to read and how like it's terrifying, right? So like sexism has plagued like video game creators for a long time, because you remember a couple years ago they had that riot like accusations where they all walked out because, you know, corporations were like Riot were making it really hard for women to work in the workplace. And then like Activision Blizzard and Bobby Kotick, the guy that runs Activision Blizzard, was also saying how like what was it? They made record-breaking profits in 2019 and then fired 1,000 employees. Right. So, Activision Blizzard does not have a good reputation. Let's just say this. So, if you look through it, and I'm actually going to give you kind of like a rundown of what this complaint is filing. So, it's numerous complaints of sexual harassment, discrimination, and retaliation were made against female employees by their male coworkers, but not all their male coworkers, obviously, but it was just like, you know, the boys club, like the people at the top kind of thing. And looking at the lawsuit, there's like discriminatory pay gaps, right? Women are getting paid far significantly less than their male counterparts. There's even someone who couldn't afford cafeteria food at the Activision Blizzard offices because they were not paid enough.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Do we know how much this cafeteria food costs?
No, because it's cafeteria food, dude. Like, it's supposed to be like the cheaper option, right? So,
Jesus.
yeah.
Because I was like, that's like one of those things where like you don't want to believe, because I'm like, I've never had a cafeteria before, but I'm pretty sure you can get a $5 sandwich anywhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you can't afford a $5 sandwich while working on World of Warcraft,
then something's fucked up, right? Because World of Warcraft still brings in a ton of fucking money. But
exactly.
I'm going to go over a couple of the more, because obviously like the ones about like pay, it's one of those, it's not surprising, right? It's kind of like, I expected that from Activision Blizzard. But let's talk about some of the more heinous accusations that are made, because I have to use the word accusations because this is a lawsuit that hasn't gone through the courts yet. But still, if you want to know what the primary source is, just go read the filing from the Department of Fair Employment and Housing from the state of California against Activision Blizzard. So it's online. You can literally Google it. But here, I'm going to read a couple of highlights that I found while reading this 29-page document. So on paragraph 46.
25 pages is insane. I had
20,
to take
29, 29 pages, yeah.
I had to take a drug screening like 3 days ago, and they were like, "Could you just sign these papers?" They handed me 3 papers, and I'm like,
yeah. So let's say paragraph 46 of the lawsuit alleges that female employees almost universally confirmed that working for defendants was akin to working in a frat house, which invariably involved male employees drinking and subjugating female employees to sexual harassment with no repercussion. There were something called cube crawls in defendants' offices where common and male employees proudly came into work hungover. Similarly, male employees would play video games during work, engage in banter about their sexual encounters, talk openly about female bodies, and make numerous jokes about rape. So, don't worry, it gets worse. A female employee noted that random male employees would approach her on defendant's work site and comment on her breasts.
Like, did she have like maybe spaghetti on her shirt or something?
No,
like,
dude, they were just talking about like her tits, dude. Like that's the thing.
Fucking damn
is that they were objectifying her. They were fucking being like these frat house skeezy little bitches. And so, just to give you some kind of the senior creative director for World of Warcraft. And I'm going to purposefully mispronounce his name because I don't think he deserves that kind of respect from me. You know, Afrasabi or whatever his name is, Alex Afrasabi. Apparently, he would hit on female employees, telling him he wanted to marry them, attempting to kiss them, and putting his arms around them in plain view of other male employees, including supervisors, who had to intervene and pull him off female employees.
Jesus Christ.
He was known to engage in lots of harassment of females in his suite, that his own private office was called the Crosby Suite, after Bill Crosby, you know, the guy that raped people.
Are you talking about Cosby, not Crosby?
It says Crosby, right? After the alleged rape is Bill Crosby. Yeah, no, it should be Cosby. I think that's a spelling error from this.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Bing was a very respectable man.
Yeah,
Great
Bing
music.
Crosby was fine, but still, Bill Crosby, it just says Crosby, and I'm looking at this right now, so I think the state of California needed to do a little bit of a,
God damn it,
whatever.
California's so close.
But still, so this guy was known to be a sexual perpetrator to the point that they nicknamed his own office after a serial rapist, an alleged serial rapist. So,
and that's not even the worst of it to me, because like name calling, yeah, like behind your supervisor's backs, yeah, whatever. But the thing that got me is the pull off. If you have to pull somebody off of someone, that's like that should be in a like unless like an old man dropped his cane and landed on someone, pulling somebody forcibly off of somebody else.
Yeah,
that's
fucked up,
Jesus
dude.
Christ.
So,
yes, that's very
like,
fucked up.
the other part of this is, like, apparently he was given every time a slap on the wrist, and they called this verbal counseling, which was just basically them kind of going, hey, dude, stop. And that was verbal counseling, apparently, to Activision Blizzard. But I want you to steel yourself. I want you to steel yourself because the last paragraph that I'm going to be reading, and I'm reading this verbatim from the actual lawsuit itself because I have the primary source with me right now. So I want you to get ready because this one is probably the most angering and probably the one that's gotten the most amount of media attention from anywhere.
I am like physically uncomfortable right now.
Oh,
like
I mean, you fucking should be though.
Bro,
like,
that fucking pull-off statement, that's what got me.
Yeah, like, okay, so 48, right? Paragraph 48 on page 15 of the Activision Blizzard lawsuit says, in a tragic example of the harassment that defendants allowed to fester in their offices, a female employee committed suicide while on company trip due to a sexual relationship she had been having with her male superior. The male supervisor was found by police to have brought a butt plug and lubricant on the business trip. Another employee confirmed that the deceased female employee may have been suffering from other sexual harassment at work prior to her death. Specifically, at a holiday party before her death, male co-workers were alleged to be passing around pictures of the deceased's vagina.
please tell me you said like before she was dead.
Yeah, before she was
Okay.
dead. So it was a
Okay.
holiday party before her death. Male coworkers were alleged to be passing around pictures of her vagina.
Jesus H.
Yeah. So can we set
I'm-
these people on fire? Like, is that the? It feels like that's the only remediation here, because they literally caused a woman to kill herself from this kind of sexual harassment.
And that, I think two of the reasons why this hurts me a lot is because I grew up in a single mother household with 4 younger sisters, right?
Right.
So I can just find it because like for me it never was boys versus girls. I mean it was when I was like 6, right?
Yeah, but you
But
were
I
like,
quickly grew
children
out
are
of that.
immature little shits, right? So that's
Exactly.
the thing.
I quickly grew out. I used to be like an incel nice guy until I actually met a girl when I was like 11.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, they only want bad boys, you know, until
You
I actually
were
started talking
red
to
pilled.
them.
You were red pilled until then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, that's because to me, like, ladies are just humans, just like everybody else. So it's insane that somebody can just bully someone into death. Like, I mean, I know bullying is an immature word, but that's honestly what it is. This is just like adult, high level bullying. And the second part that disgusts me is that well, that this is not the job I want. I don't want to be running around smacking ladies, but that's what I'm going to school for. I'm going to school so I can get a job
to
at
be a
Activision
video game,
Blizzard.
yeah, like you don't want to.
So I can get a job at Nintendo, right? And
Right.
I don't want to show up and like
You don't want to show up and have to deal with like trying to pull men off of women, like they're
exactly.
Like
That's
they're
not
children.
a pull off. For me, that's not a pull off situation. That's a break. That's a broken arm situation.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, I'm also I wrestled in high school, and to this day I still box. So I don't pull people off. I break people.
You're breaking people. Well,
Yeah,
it's not
and-
even that, right? Because the whole thing of like, if we can acknowledge that like toxic masculinity exists in these like all male workplaces, because the lawsuit also shows that the demographic statistics of Activision Blizzard are 80% male and
Jesus
only
Christ.
20% female, right?
And that's another one that hurts me because like one of my sisters, she is almost like a carbon copy of my personality, right?
Yeah.
She loves video games, she loves anime, she loves all the memes I like. She's in STEM for women. We're incredibly proud of her. I'm incredibly proud of her because she's so smart at such a young age. I don't want her to deal with this bullshit.
Yeah.
Because
well,
like back in high school, like yeah, it was just immature kids. Like once you leave high school, you're expected to work with adults as an adult. I don't want her to deal with this bullshit.
Well, Robinson, I think that's something that we kind of have to understand about as people who grew up male. We don't have this understanding of it because we never had to deal with that ourselves. It's one of those of like, if you look at the people who typically grew up as a man within the United States, we don't deal with sexual harassment stuff like this. In fact, it's kind of like there are different social norms and different gender norms for each person. And this is kind of one of those things of you're shocked right now because you've never had to deal with this kind of stuff before. So it's one of those of like, sorry to break the glass on that one, my guy, but like there's some fucked up shit happening in like video game culture.
That's terrible because like literally the worst sexual harassment I ever got was a customer grabbed my ass while I was working at Golden Chick.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
And that's the worst of it. That was it. It was over. It's a funny story that I tell to this day.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things of it's still, even that is sexual assault, my guy. Like someone like unpromptly grabbing your ass without your permission, without your consent, is sexual assault. And now the thing is though is that this literally caused a woman to kill herself, and that the culture around it was so bad that female employees actually put their complaints to HR, but HR actively promoted and actually protected these rapists, like the alleged rapists, right? Don't want to get in trouble from Blizzard, but still, they are actively doing this kind of harassment and sexual like sexism. it shouldn't be allowed in the workplace. Because here's the thing, that anti-Semite Henry Ford, like way back when Ford first started as a car company. You know what he figured out about like making stuff is that if your workers are happy, they're more they do better work. And yeah,
he pioneered the 5-day work week. He pioneered higher pay. He pioneered the assembly line.
Like, don't get me wrong, he was a piece of shit, but you know what? At least he did like things that were rational because they still at least made him money. It made more sense that people who are happier will come into work and do better at their work. And so, like, the thing is, I don't know how Blizzard or Activision Blizzard can, like, do this and, like, expect to get quality of work out of these people. Because, like, here's the thing.
They keep the dudes happy.
Yeah.
They keep 80% happy.
An employee complained to Blizzard around 2019 that employees were leaving due to sexual harassment and sexism. This employee noted that women on the BattleNet team were subjected to, like, disparaging comments, and the environment was akin to working to a frat house to the point that women were, quote, not huge gamers or core gamers and not into the party scene, and they were actually treated as outsiders. So this is 80%.
Jesus.
This is 80% of a company who is treating 20%, a minority of people, as something like lesser than, right? Because like the thing is though, is think about it like from your sister, right? Would you be okay with your sister like having someone passing photos of their genitals around at a holiday party when they were old enough and got to work? Would you be okay with that?
That is what we call a ticket to prison.
That's a ticket to prison. Okay, so if you're not okay with that happening to your sister, then you shouldn't be okay with it happening to anyone. Right?
I'm not okay with it happening to anyone.
I know.
What are you accusing me of?
I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just trying to help you kind of explore this whole thing of like, oh shit, I've never had to deal with this before. But women deal with this kind of shit all the time. And it's fucked up that they have to deal with it anyways. So, like, I don't understand this whole thing of like women are not gamers, right? There are some women who are gamers that can kick my fucking ass. Like, there's a streamer that I'm friends with, and she's like kind of not been streaming recently because she's been working on her college stuff, but like she is so much better than I am at like Valorant or any of the other games like that we play for multiplayer. So
it's also worse because like, goddamn, look at all the top Twitch streamers. I don't know anything about Pokimane, but doesn't she make like $100 million off of donations alone?
Yeah, dude, she's like one of the top like streamers of the platform, and she's doing fucking great. And she's actually good at like video games. She would fucking whoop my ass in any competition, and I don't know, like it's hard, dude. It's hard to be a female online because you got all these like incel people going like, hey, tits and ass. Hey, can I see those bobs and vagines? Right? Like those old memes.
What you gotta do is, I found this is the best defense for that, and it's one I employ every woman to use, is when they they ask for nudes, say yes, but send them a dick pic. And make sure it's like a massive penis. That way they feel bad about their tiny penis.
It's like mine's bigger than yours kind of thing.
No, like say something like...
I feel like this is a gateway to like the other person being really transphobic, and they'd be like, "Well, then I dodged a major bullet against that one." So
don't say it's your penis. Just send penis.
Just send giant black penis just to the people, or don't.
All penises.
Actually, I'm saying do that in a video game. Don't do it in real life, right?
In Minecraft.
Allegedly. Okay.
Send them giant white penises too, so they can't even blame it on race.
Oh my god. Okay. So still, like, this is the kind of thing of like I hated it because this is something that I honestly really don't like. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Like, this is one of those of I knew that like there was such a frat boy bro gaming culture at like Activision Blizzard or like Riot or any of these other kind of fucking things. Like last year, what was it, 2020, when the Ubisoft accusations came out, that like Ubisoft was actively like promoting and defending like upper level people who were rapists or like that kind of stuff. And it's difficult for me because I want to play good video games, but I also don't want to support these motherfuckers. And I just spent like money on some loot boxes for the summer event on Overwatch, and then the very next day this lawsuit came out, and I was like, God damn it. God damn it. I just gave these little fuckers money to defend themselves against this fucking thing. And guess who they got as the lawyer? Guess who they got as the lawyer to defend against Activision Blizzard?
Yeah, they brought back Johnny Kardashian's dead body from the grave.
Nah, dude, they got some lawyer from the Trump administration. And so from
Rudy Giuliani, hell yeah.
No, they didn't get Rudy Giuliani.
Damn it. I wanted to see, because he's such a fuck up. I feel like he would be like, all right, listen, we've all raped a girl, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that would be his main defense.
Like, we all do that, yeah, like, who was to say, right? Like, it's one of those of, I don't understand this, because do you remember when Gamergate happened, like, a long time ago?
Oh, yeah,
like, where
and I thought
people were saying that women were only reason why women were getting ahead. It's like incels invaded the gamer world and then started, like, harassing women.
I thought it was stupid and fake, because I'm like, bro, the only thing gamers want is to play with women, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing I want. I want to meet girls so I can finally have one lady friend.
Yeah. So the whole thing with Gamergate is that, like, was it Sarkeesian, the girl that does the feminist, like, reviews or like that kind of shit?
Anna Sarkeesian.
Anna
She was just not a good person.
Here's the thing about her, right? Like, if she has these beliefs, go off, right? Like, do what you want, make these accusations, have the proof. Anna Sarkeesian, I really don't give a shit about. I support her trying to, like, bring this stuff to light, but she was the person that brought the light of, like, the toxic gaming workplace in 2015. And then people didn't believe her back then because they were just like, oh, she's a woman, blah, blah, blah. And I can't, right? So I don't know. I just don't think. I look back at, like, Gamergate and I look back at all this other kind of stuff and I'm just like, you know what? Maybe she was right about this, and she was right about this. There is a lot of toxic masculinity inside of gaming, and that sucks. But
toxic masculinity only belongs in my workout group as a meme.
It only belongs in the workout as your. Okay, great. Well,
there's this guy at our gym. We call him the Screaming 45 because he will deadlift 245s, right? Like a 45 on one side, a 45 on the other side. Which, if you're starting to work out, good for you. But if you're at the gym every day, then you gotta lift the weight. He lifts it screaming, and then he drops it. He doesn't put it back down, which is literally half of the fucking exercise.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, that's the only toxic masculinity that I accept. The Screaming 45.
Yeah? Okay. Well, hey, whatever, right? Oh my god.
I'm trying to make light. I can't.
You're trying to make light. You can't make light of this.
This is a horrible thing. This is just a horrible thing that happened.
Yeah, dude, like, this is fucked up. Like, this is some bullshit stuff. Like, if you're someone who likes good games and likes all of this kind of stuff, you shouldn't be supporting this kind of deal. And I honestly, like, wanted to kick myself, like, for giving them money for this kind of shit, right?
And also, I want to say this to women: if you are a lady and you do want to get into the video game industry, don't let stuff like this stop you, right?
Right.
Because things like this will happen everywhere. And I'm not saying that because it's like, oh, just deal with it, right? That's not what I'm saying.
You're not doing the toxic, just accept it and move on. Yeah.
Bro, I need a script.
You need a script. You need to prepare this. No, but I can understand.
What I mean is this will happen, and this will happen everywhere. And you can't let that stop you from doing the things you want, right? Doing the things that you're passionate about. And there are many options you can take, right? Like, I know in this case, going to HR didn't help. But remember, there is no reason for you to take it without doing anything about it. Report them to HR, get the government involved, find a different, more friendlier place to work at. Make sure that you can do what you want to do, and make sure you can do it safely. Because the only way this is going to change is that if we all do something about it, right?
Mm.
So if this is something you want to do and you want to make games, don't let stuff like this stop you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And I think that's a fair note. That's fair, right? So I don't know. Well, anyways, my guy.
This shit just sucks.
It does. It sucks. Like, I hate it so much because it's one of those of like Henry Ford, the fucking racist that did Ford, thought if you make your workers happy, they make a better product. So if you're part of this company of Activision, right? Why wouldn't you want to make a better product so that you can get more money? So why not make it so that they are not being actively subjugated to this kind of harassment?
But you don't get it, Stanley. They are happy. 80% is very, very happy.
80% is very, very happy, but yes, that 80% is not going to have sexy time unless that 20% actually thinks that's okay. And guess what? They don't, because they have autonomy and they have the ability to choose for themselves. And this is the kind of fucking bullshit that's being placed on them. But still, I don't know. But yeah, so that was kind of the bug in my ear this week, was that I was kind of like, remember at the beginning when we were talking about how like the guy that created the Dragon Quest theme was like a fucking Japan Nazi kind of person that denied the Nanjing massacre? How do you separate the work from the person, right? How do you enjoy things that are made by bad people? And that's kind of like what's been on my mind for the last week, because I can't. I'm not sure if I can. It's one of those of, if I don't support the person who's doing this, if I give my money to someone who is making this, right, and they're awful at it, then I am inadvertently supporting them. I'm giving my dollar to them. And I'm struggling right now to find an answer for this. So, yeah. But this...
Willful ignorance.
Willful... No, let's not. Because that's how 2016... Dude, that's how 2016 happened, is willful ignorance. So, let's not have a repeat of that.
When they assassinated the leader of the United States. Harambe.
Oh my god. Harambe, yeah. That's so fucking funny. Still.
And then people walk down the neighborhood with their penises out.
Yeah. Well, hey man, so I heard you have some like reviews of some first impressions.
Yeah, so
okay.
Just really quick, in order to lighten everybody's mood a little bit, because the world isn't all horrible. Even though sometimes it is.
It's pretty close to it, though, I have to admit. Yeah. Okay.
I have some Snapfire reviews for y'all, because I don't know why I never play games when they come out. I always wait until they're on sale. Old Man's Journey, right? Mm-hmm. A very cute puzzle game starring an old man. The main puzzle mechanic is actually super interesting. So you know that optical illusion where it only seems small because it's far away. Well, in this game, you manipulate the terrain to create paths using that illusion, and it tells a really beautiful story about an old man's life that almost made me cry at the end. It's a quick 1 to 3 hour journey. Get it on sale. It should be like $10. If you see it, like I saw it on the Nintendo Switch sale for like $2. I give that game a good 3.5. Definitely worth your time. Now, the second game I played, Katana Zero. Now, everybody knows I love quick-paced platformers, and Katana Zero is exactly that. With, like, great controls, great mechanics, one of those mind-bending stories that puts you in the main seat and makes you question your actions and what happened. Very good game. I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. Definitely get it if you see it. And that's about it. That's my Snapfire review. Stanley, you got one?
Yeah, so obviously last week I started playing Mario Golf, but that's kind of more of a, like, you just want to, like, go to bed, so you're like, I'm going to play a round of golf before that kind of shit, but still.
It's a pacifier.
I have started playing Death Stranding, right? So,
Yeah.
because I had watched the Video Game Donkey review of Death Stranding, and then I watched girlfriend reviews of Death Stranding, which there's a whole controversy surrounding girlfriend reviews right now, but like it's we're talking about that later. Still,
God damn it, I love her.
No, she's not in trouble, right?
Okay,
it's
good.
it's someone who. So to give you kind of like a 5-minute synopsis of like a 30-minute problem, someone.
Oh yeah, I just Googled it.
Yeah, so someone
Jesus Christ.
made up allegations or made up evidence that someone was threatening Last of Us 2 hater from her fan base, and then they proved that it was like him sending death threats to himself.
Yep.
So yeah, because obviously she's a woman in gaming, right? We can't have that, but still, yeah. My review
Our
of it
heart
is
goes
that
out to her.
yeah, because honestly, like girlfriend reviews is fucking great. I love that channel. Go
Yeah,
check
she's
it out.
legitimately funny.
Yeah, she is. She's fucking hilarious, and I like the nuanced take on it because, like, Savannah doesn't play video games, and my partner and I, when we live together, like, it's very much like she will watch me play Mario, like, she'll watch me play Mario stuff, but she won't get into, like, the other things, and, it's because, like, it's just not her thing, right? It's just not her thing. So I've always wondered what it was like from that kind of perspective, and that kind of gets it, but it's funny how they turned her into a gamer. But anyways, my review back to Death Stranding is that Death Stranding is pretty. Death Stranding has a weird story that is not fully explained yet because I've only played it for like 3 hours. I dig it. I think it's cool. I love it. I think that I like weird shit anyways, right? So this is not something that's going to be like, oh, I'm so upset about this, like, mud people or the, like, BTs or the babies and the whatever. It's weird, dude. Like, I'm telling you, it's fucking weird as shit. But I love weird as shit things. It's
Talking
so great.
about mud people like they aren't my relatives.
Oh my god, no, Robinson. No. So the whole thing is that I definitely noticed that it is kind of like a walking sim where you do basically like deliver packages and that kind of stuff. And I've heard rumors that like the first 10 hours of the video game are like you chug along because you got to get through that. And then the inspiration will hit you after the real video game opens up. Right. So I am kind of like trying to chug along, but I'm not honestly chugging along because I actually legitimately enjoy the mechanics of it. I am very much an explorer, right? Because I like Skyrim. I liked when in Skyrim the first thing that I would do is walk from one edge of the map to the other side, right?
But you know what? That's actually kind of interesting to me because like that they say the first 10 hours sucks, but then after it gets really good.
Yeah.
Like that's a valid
criticism.
statement.
Yeah, it's a valid criticism.
I want to bring up something that Cadicarus said. YouTuber, incredibly funny, incredibly high quality videos. Just shout out to Girlfriend Reviews and Cadicarus. And what he said is, I don't care if it gets good after 10 hours, because if it does not hold my attention for 5 hours, then it's already failed to me as a game. Which I also think is a very valid statement, because I do have a copy of Death Stranding. I bought my PS4 off of someone, and he's like, hey, do you want this? I'm like, sure. I haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
But that's like one of the things that I'm kind of like anxious about starting it up. Like, if it doesn't hold my attention for 10 hours, is it really worth it to chug along?
Well, I think it's more one of those things of like you have to get it as a story, right? So you know how books take longer to get into the story than like watching movies do, right? Because movies have to get to that point, right? Because there's only limited time in movies. But books, you can explore characters much more thoroughly. Video games are basically starting to become like that, where there's a lot of stuff in between that needs to be said or needs to be done so that you can get the full context of the story. And playing Death Stranding, even just for that kind of stuff, I mean, I don't know, like, I'm streaming Death Stranding to that girl I was talking, like, that streamer girl that I was talking about, because she doesn't want to buy it, but she's interested to watch me play it. So I've been streaming it, so you're welcome to join our stream later and just check out what's going on. But
Plug the stream. Plug the stream.
Oh no, it's on our Discord, right? So,
Okay.
but still, I think it's okay. I like it. Like, it's just I like weird shit though. That's the problem with me is that I'm a weirdo. So, or I can appreciate it, right? I can appreciate the fact that like Hideo Kojima is actually doing something away from corporate eyes because, like, let's face it, another fucking bullshit company is the one that he used to work for when he made Metal Gear Solid. What was that? It was the Konami, right?
And then they made Metal Gear Zombies and completely crashed the series.
Right. They fucked it up, and now they're only doing like Silent Hill pachinko machines and gambling machines that are themed around their IP.
Hell yeah.
No, that's fucking bullshit, right? Like,
when they're bringing them to America. Let me lose all my money.
At least Capcom, right? At least Capcom had the balls to remake Resident Evil, right? And make Resident Evil 7 and 8. And they realized that people like those IPs and they're still wanting to buy those IPs. Like,
and then 2 and 3, the remakes are just, fantastic.
Oh my god, right? Like the second one, I actually started out with that one. I played the second one, then the third one, and then the seventh one on winter break because that's the only time that I get to actually play video games other than like that. And so when Resident Evil 8 came out, I'm saying it right now just for everyone, Resident Evil 8 is my video game of 2021. It is great. I love Resident Evil 8. Anyone who doesn't like it, that's your opinion, but it's also wrong. So, still.
Now listen. You're allowed to have your opinion, and you're also allowed to be incorrect.
You're also allowed to have that kind of whatever, but still, because let's face it, right? Like, people want IPs that they're comfortable with it, but they want to expand on the story, and so Capcom was able to do that with their old IP. I don't see why Konami could not do that with their new IP. They just found it like EA. The EA has all those gambling and loot box mechanics, right? Those surprise mechanics, and they made money off of it.
They put them in Assassin's Creed, and they called them time savers.
Yeah, like what the fuck, dude? Like it shouldn't be. You shouldn't make your game. You shouldn't make your game to the point where it's I'm saving time, not playing your game.
Paying money.
That's not a game. That's a job. Fuck you if you're thinking like that's actually fun. So
and with a job, it almost works in the same way. It's like you don't want to work, all right, we won't pay you. But in this case, it's like you don't want to work, fine, pay us.
Yeah, like fuck them for that, right? Like that's the problem that I have with loot box. But still, anyways, I'm not gonna try and go full Marxist today, but still, Death Stranding.
I have the bottle of bleach in my hand, and my beard is looking a little too red.
Oh my god! So, my take on Death Stranding so far, just being 3 hours into it, is that I love the cinematics. I'm interested behind the lore of Death Stranding. I haven't seen Mads Mikkelsen like in full like motion camera or whatever in video game yet, and he's my favorite person. So we'll see.
To be honest, I'm kind of liking this trend when they're like, "Hey, famous actor Norman Reedus, can we put you in a game?" All right, sick. I'm liking this trend.
Yeah,
because
dude.
They're putting Vin Diesel in the new the Horizon Zero Dawn. They put the Punisher, the actor for the Punisher, in that Tom Clancy game. I forget the name.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, they put Negan from The Walking Dead into Soul Calibur. I'm having a good time with this.
Yeah, dude. Like, I think
need.
It's one of those things that video games are becoming more like acceptable as a media form, right?
Yeah.
So
now I'm just waiting for Danny DeVito to be in Honey Pop 3.
Oh my god, Danny DeVito and Persona Dancers.
Oh.
Persona 5 Dancers, like just dancing next to like Morgana is just Danny DeVito and his like tiny self doing his awkward movements.
I know Danny DeVito is a very talented actor and a really nice guy in real life, but I hope they just put in It's Always Sunny Frank Reynolds into the game so he can just be like, "Horse."
Oh my god.
Just like
okay.
every sentence, "Horse."
Yeah. But goddamn. So yeah, like I honestly, man, like if you I would say if you're going to play Death Stranding, one of the things that you need to do is just understand that this game wants to tell you something, but it has to build it up. right?
Gotcha.
And that's every single like series you do, right? Like with Game of Thrones or with any anime or any like video game, there is world building that has to happen. And I think that it's interesting, especially after coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, right? That Death Stranding is like America where people are isolated and there's like these things that can kill us outside, along with like, you know, the marauding bandits like Trump supporters that are ignoring that to go murder people outside. Allegedly. Right, in a video game. So that's the thing, is that I have more connection to this video game because I went through the pandemic, and I'm not saying the pandemic is good. I'm just saying that I have more experience with being isolated, and that's essentially what this game is it's just like isolation and, you know, dangerous things. And how does America cope with dealing with events that can change our reality, right? So, I don't know. I think it's good.
I also want to mention that they have Bruce Willis in Death Stranding too.
They have Bruce Willis in Death Stranding?
Yes. Die Hard Man.
Die Hard Man, yeah. No, they have Guillermo del Toro, right? And I love Guillermo del Toro because he did the original, like, what was it? The Hellboy, like, because Hellboy is one of my favorite comics growing up. It's one of the ways that I learned German when I was living in Germany, was that my special friend at the time had all the comics to it, and I liked reading them, so it helped me learn German fluency a little bit from that. Sad to say, but still. And
don't worry,
Guillermo del Toro did, like, what's some of the other movies that he's done?
He did The Shape of Water.
The Shape of Water, right?
He did this
I
Netflix
actually was okay
cartoon.
with. I thought it was fine.
He did this Netflix cartoon, something about Troll, like the Troll Seeker, Troll Destroyer, that my sisters and my cousins absolutely love. Hang on.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro, right? So Guillermo del Toro, Pan's Labyrinth, that's it. That's the one that I was thinking about, right?
Troll Hunters. That's what he made.
Yeah, Troll Hunters, Pan's Labyrinth.
I still need to watch Pan's Labyrinth. I honestly thought it was a weird ass Peter Pan spinoff.
Dude, it's so good. It's so good. Like
I read like a description of it because like I decided I need to watch all these amazing movies that I've never seen in my life. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, Pan's Labyrinth, what's that, the Peter Pan movie? And I read the description, I'm like, oh, this has nothing to do with Peter Pan. It's on my watch list.
Oh, no. You know what we should do? We should do Wednesday episodes where we do like an hour of movie reviews, where we just watch movies, like nerdy movies and shit, and then we come back and talk about it.
That's our homework. Yeah, no, I'm down with that.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's do that. Like, let's do Pan's Labyrinth.
I'm going to bleep out Wednesdays. That way the audience doesn't hold us accountable.
Yeah, okay. Well, still, let's do Pan's Labyrinth as our first movie, because I haven't seen it since high school, because the only exposure that I had to it was that when I was dating this person, the other kid that I was talking about,
Fox Girl.
Fox Girl, right? So the other kin was like, hey, do you want to watch this? And I was like, yeah. And so she put it on, and it was actually really good. And I was not expecting it, right? Because it was just like one of those weird movies. And it's one of those things of like, I like weirdness, but I don't actively go seek it. And so I need someone to like go, here, watch this. And then I'm like, this was dope. I like it. And then, but
that's like, I didn't expect you to have good taste in anything.
I mean, it's like my students don't imagine that I have good taste in music, and then I show them my playlist, or I have them playing, or have my playlist playing while it comes on, and they're just like, oh, okay, great. So there you go. Like, there was one person who
You're
didn't
lamer
think,
than I thought.
There was one student last year who thought that I did not know who Fallout Boy was, and I was like, bitch, please. I know who Fallout Boy is. They were my fucking thing.
You like that new Fallout Boy. You like that soy boy Fallout Boy. Yeah.
Still, I was thinking like, hey, we should watch this weird shit. We should watch weird shit and just be like, how weird is it? It's so weird, man.
Let's do that. Yeah.
I mean, now that what is it? I'm presenting my thesis next Wednesday. So once I'm done with that, then I'm basically done with school. And then I got like one more oral exam to talk about with someone, but it's basically just for me to get like an extra hour to graduate. But hey, whatever. So why don't we go ahead and end this, because we're about to hit an hour and 30 minutes. So
And today, of course, we always give a special go to hell to somebody of our choosing. Today, Activision Blizzard, go to hell.
you can go to fucking hell, Activision Blizzard. Fuck you.
Good night, folks. Love you all.